I'm doing my final revisiting of the late night franchise in this video. Since the retirement of David Letterman and Jimmy Fallon taking over The Tonight Show, the late night landscape has changed. The generational gap has been updated to what newer generations would enjoy watching. When Jimmy took over late night in 2009 from Conan, I thought he wasn't a great talk show host, but those, of course, were awkward stages. I tend to tune in and tune out the show. The show just felt forced and phony to me. So, in the stance, I couldn't enjoy Jimmy's late night show. Some things were good, but it just wasn't for me. So, I watched Craig Ferguson instead. I enjoyed his humor and, of course, his fourth wall antics. However, Jimmy Fallon is responsible for what late night is now. Now, keep in mind, Jimmy Kimmel has been in this game for a while and started gaining popularity, especially after moving his show to 11:30 and made a name for himself. While Stephen Colbert is starting out and James Corden took over after Craig, these shows are neat and innovative for their generation and age. For instance, Jimmy Fallon is not a good interviewer in my opinion, so he may not be your traditional late-night host like Letterman, Conan, Carson, or even Leno, but he does have showmanship. Jimmy takes his interviews and he has fun with the celebrities, sing, play games, and even take them on remotes. I have to admit, I love to see Jimmy and Justin Timberlake. You know they're going to have a party if they're together. Here is a slight dig at Jimmy, however. When The Tonight Show drama in 2010 was happening, Jimmy made a joke since he was hosting late night, and I quote, "We will stay here at 12:30 as long as you need us. However, there has been 3 hosts of late night, David Letterman and Conan O'Brien. And if there's anything I've learned from Dave and Conan, is that this show is a one-way ticket not to host The Tonight Show." That, of course, being a well-crafted joke, but wouldn't you know it, 3 years later, Jay Leno retired again, for good this time. Jimmy was next in line to take over The Tonight Show. Jimmy did a neat thing, however. He agreed to do The Tonight Show in New York, in his current studio 6B in Rockefeller Center. So for this to happen, the remaining final shows of late night were going to be taped in Studio 6A, where David Letterman and Conan, and including Dr. Oz, filmed their shows. It was neat to see them use Studio 6A as another late night studio, at least for the last time. Since The Tonight Show was premiered in 2014 with Jimmy Fallon as the host, Jimmy Fallon is the host that all other hosts didn't get to be. Fresh and with no drama. When Letterman took over late night, his goal was to host The Tonight Show, to be just like his idol, Johnny Carson, and to see what innovative things he can do for the show. And Conan O'Brien, when he took over, for the same reason, wanted to take over The Tonight Show, to be like his idol, Johnny Carson. However, Conan hosted The Tonight Show, but never really had a chance to get it on his feet. Instead, NBC couldn't divorce Jay Leno to marry Conan, in other words. So Conan was sideswiped along with Letterman. Letterman made a legacy on CBS, showing that an 11:30 show can coexist with The Tonight Show. Conan O'Brien, however, Bill Carter said it best. He's in the sticks and under the radar. He and I agree, Conan was much better in New York. The Conan show on TBS is still on and is doing great, but I tend to like Late Night with Conan O'Brien better. A little more electrifying and clever, and especially doing the show in New York, it was really just a great fit. I love to find new reruns when I can, along with Letterman's Late Show and Late Night. But those shows are from my generation, not the kids and adults of today. Jimmy Fallon responds to the today crowd, and especially the fun that he does with the celebrity guest. He's paved the way for new types of interviews, where they can have fun. James Corden applied this with having fun with the celebrities doing carpool karaoke and skits, where they just have a good time. And to be fair, they give the show a nice appeal, saying, hey, I could hang out with this host and he could be my friend, without being intimidating at all, which is what I think, a neat idea and concept. As the world around us change, people have to change, and TV shows have to change. So they may not be straightforward interviews like they used to be, but it's a new type of entertainment. Especially since Letterman retired, he's pretty much the final classic late night host. With anything, Conan being the oldest now, he was around the time when the late night landscape was changing for his time in the 90s to early 2000s. And so Letterman retired and Stephen Colbert took over. I call The Late Show with Stephen Colbert not a talk show. However, there is a house band that's pretty great and a monologue and guests. It seems like a new version of the Colbert Report. It just has that feel. It's not bad, but it's not really a talk show either. But really, it all stems by just saying this is just my opinion of what I think the late night landscape is now, today. And especially from the first video in 2009. A lot has changed since then. But in conclusion, the late night landscape has changed in the last few years, and I'm sure there will be more new things to be had. Late night is not for me anymore, but I can always catch something funny every now and then. And I could finish this off by saying, thank you, Jimmy, for making a new kind of entertainment.